know the mask. It calls to you, doesn't it, Mike?
Jason.
It's the mask.
I know you can't resist the mask.
Kill them all, Jason.
Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
You're with your baby in the park alone on a summer night. You're deep in love, but you're deep out in the woods.
Well, let's go ahead and get started then. Hi, everyone.
Alright, let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentleman Fan Film Reviews. I am Sid Partu. Joining me today is...
The real Manos.
Indeed, and Manos has chosen our fan film today. What are we discussing, sir?
We are discussing Michael versus Jason.
Indeed.
Evil emerges.
Yeah. So, I do varying levels of research with these things, and this one I was just going through the guy's channel trying to figure out if they posted a trailer or not, and this is a team that is not new to versus matches between horror characters. I don't know if you checked out any of their other videos, but yeah, they got quite a few of these kind of things, like Ghostface versus Myers and stuff like that. So they got a fair amount of experience with doing fan films of these horror icon characters fighting each other.
They should do Carrie versus Firestarter.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see?
So that
Just made your movie right there.
Yeah. So that being said, what did you think of this fan film, Manos?
I thought it was good. It's good. It's a solid, serviceable, B. I know it's a little early to rate, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was reacting to it as well, is like I understand the appeal of these kinds of fan films, and I know Robert Englund has talked about it all the time, that people would come up to him, like kids, 13, 14, would come up to him and like, who could win in a fight, you or Jason, or you or Michael Myers, and like that's just nothing new even then, because you go back further and we had like Dracula versus the Wolfman and all that shit. And so, like, these kind of grudge match between the horror characters is... And, of course, between superheroes. How many Batman v Superman fights have you heard talked about at your local comic shop?
Endlessly.
Yeah. So all that's nothing new. And I kind of think that the huge, I guess, boom in fan-made projects has kind of just led to these things being much more achievable now to do, and there's definitely an audience for it. So I definitely get why people do them. I find it challenging to do a review of this because there's like the trappings of a story without an actual story, and that's fine because really it is just an excuse to get us a 30-minute grudge match, you know?
Exactly. I was actually thinking about Bruce Timm, oddly enough, when I was watching this, and I think one of the commentaries on one of the Justice League episodes is he was talking about the Superman versus Shazam episode, Clash, and he told the creators of that one, I don't care what you have to do, I just want them to fight. And that's a true story. And sometimes I think about that sentence when I watch something like this. Like, look, I don't care what you have to do to get them in the same room to fight, but let's just have them fight. And there are some interesting ideas here. and it does deliver. I mean, it's not like, you mentioned, the old Universal mashups. And I don't know if you've ever seen Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. By the way, but in the old days, they used to say meets. They didn't say verses, which always makes me laugh. It's like Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and they, have brunch together. So, no, they fight. Obviously, fight, stupids. That movie is like a whole movie, and they fight in the last 5 minutes, and it's rather disappointing. It's because I remember, like, I actually saw that movie for the first time a few years ago. It's like, man, that's it? Like, they fight for 2 minutes and then get, like, wiped out by a tidal wave. So there's not even a clear winner on the thing. There's not even a Martha moment. But so this one delivers. This is like almost the whole fucking movie of them fighting and punching and stabbing each other. On the negative side, almost the whole movie is them punching and stabbing each other, and it's not scary. It's essentially like watching a couple of drunks fight at a horror convention. They're two guys in masks, and that's kind of it. There's like no real threat. The SWAT guys, who by the way are the worst SWAT guys I've ever seen in my life. Look, you guys have guns. You guys have automatic weapons. You should be able to stop one of them. Like one of my favorite moments. I'm not a Jason fan, but one of my favorite moments in all of Jason movies is a scene in Jason Goes to Hell, where it opens with the smartest fucking thing you could ever see in a Friday the 13th movie. Is the FBI moves in on Jason and they hit him with everything. They blow him up. They blow his ass up. It's like, well, that's reality. That's what would happen.
Yeah. It's interesting to me to talk about this one because my mind kind of went back to another fan film we discussed, and I don't want to like pit people against each other, but this guy was kind of an asshole to us, so fuck him. You remember that Godzilla fan film we talked about, where it was like an hour and a half of like Chicago just getting destroyed by literally every monster in the Godzilla universe, and it was just it was fucking boring. It was so much action that it was just literally boring. So like this is kind of the same thing as that, but it's smart enough in how it presents itself, particularly in the timing that it lets itself have. This is only half an hour as opposed to an hour and a half, and it doesn't drown.
Yeah.
It's smart enough to know what you're there for, and it's not trying to drown you in a story you don't care about. I'll be honest, there were a couple minutes where I was like, okay, gonna check the old phone here. But overall, I was relatively engaged, and I found what they did here relatively satisfying. To be fair, I'm not the kind of guy that's super into these versus matches. I see the appeal of them to some extent, but I get bored with them relatively quickly. But I thought this was a respectable effort,
Oh, yes. I make fun, but there's obvious love for the two characters here. The setup, I think, is pretty good of Michael escaping in the woods, unfortunately, right next to Jason, and then they just go at it for like the rest of the time, and it completely delivers on that. There's even some interesting moment, because there's even an interesting moment where Jason is the one who starts the fight. But what I thought was interesting is when they see each other for the first time, Michael just kind of stares at him. Like, okay, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at another guy in a mask stabbing people.
That's my thing.
Yeah. What is this guy going to be a friend of mine? What are we like kindred spirit? And then he starts attacking. Like, oh, okay.
No lie, when like the random hunters or whatever they were supposed to be show up as Jason is like down and out and Michael's about to finish him off, and then the hunters show up, and they both work together to kill the random group. I was like, wait, are they about to be best friends? Because that would have been the most surprising and fun kind of turn you could have possibly given. It's like, we both like the same thing. Killing people.
That would have been a great... I'll be honest with you, that would have been a great moment. I mean, it would have been like that moment out of Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends?
Yeah, exactly.
And almost like a Marvel team-up scenario, where the two characters fight, and then they realize they're on the same side and fight, someone else. Which, I'd be honest, that's a formula that never gets old with me. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that is a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, though.
Because the film doesn't even give us a clear winner. I mean, yeah, Jason wins the fight, and then Michael gets right back up, starts going after him.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here. I've only seen bits and pieces of their film catalog because I find Halloween boring as fuck, and I find Friday the 13th just, like, hilarious in small doses. But, like, they're both pretty much just immortal tanks, right? Like, as far as what they eventually became in their respective franchises.
More or less correct. Well, in the case of Jason, yes. He was a kid. He's not even in the first one. But he is just a killer in, I guess, 2 through 4? I forgot which one he dies in. And then he becomes this zombie-like monster, which was a good idea, frankly, because it prevents all the problems of bringing him back from movie to movie. And it raises the stakes. I mean, that's one of the few things I like about the franchise. Michael, I'm not sure. I mean, literally, look, Michael is supposed to be a killer in a mask with a knife, and one of the beauties of the first Halloween is the simplicity of it. And it's been, over the course of, like, the film franchise, it's become so convoluted. He's like a DC character now. Where it's like, is he part of the Thorn conspiracy cult? Is he not? Is he immortal? Is he just a person? What is he? Like, I'm not clear. There have been so many origins and tweaks to the continuity. Like, I'm a little unclear now. And that's if you also include, like, the Rob Zombie films, which, hey, it's still convoluted even if you exclude the Rob Zombie movies. And shit, the recent one that was made was just called Halloween and ignored the others that came out. Like, god damn it. Not totally clear. I think he is definitely more human and often portrayed as more human than Jason is. I mean, Jason, like I said, is like an immortal zombie monster. You have to blow him up to stop him.
And that's kind of like, that's kind of my thing here is, for its faults, Freddy vs. Jason on some level makes sense to me because you got Freddy who's like very supernatural and like kind of, he attacks you in your dreams and
yeah, it's a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like a very different, Freddy Krueger is a very different kind of monster than Jason Voorhees is. So putting them two together to fight actually makes some level of sense to me. Whereas putting Michael Myers and Jason in a fight against each other, it just feels like two brick walls hitting each other. Like Mist Air Fusion, Lance, who we both know, does a great series on their channel called Dragon Ball Dissection, and one of the points made all the time is, what is the appeal of watching someone punch a brick wall? And then, so like I kind of applied that to this, and I'm like, what is really the appeal of watching a brick wall punch a brick wall? Because it is kind of endless, and it doesn't seem like there are any real stakes or any real person to root for besides the one you happen to prefer. So if you're in like my shoes, where the answer is neither, it's kind of like, okay, I guess we'll just watch them punch and stab each other endlessly, and that's kind of the part where I'm like, okay, it gets a little boring, but again, that's more just on a concept level. I think the execution is what makes this fan film salvageable for me.
Oh yeah, look, it takes the most simplest way to do this idea, and they do it well. I mean, by the way, we haven't even really gotten to the technical aspects, like the costuming, the makeup, or specifically Jason and Michael look really good. They look, I think, like camera ready. Like they do look like they could be in one of their films. I think it's extremely well done. Also, the SWAT guys look pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like real tactical looking gear and stuff.
Yeah, and those douchebag hunters that show up at the end. Actually, that's the property owner. that's actually something that made me laugh. It's like, they were on that property for a minute. I've seen that kind of thing in horror movies. Like, wait, wouldn't the owner notice? And wait, the owner did notice, and he didn't stupidly call the police. He didn't wisely call the police. He stupidly showed up with his 2 hardcore sons and decided to take them down, which was their mistake. But yeah, I think on a technical basis, I mean I think the gore looks pretty good. The makeup looks really well done, and also the setting. I mean, this film is shot very well.
I mean, like I was really impressed just by those opening couple minutes where we get Jason waking up in the woods and usually I'm trying to think, what was the other Friday the 13th Never Hike Alone? Remember that one? Like that was a pretty good Jason fan film, and it did what I think is a pretty typical thing to do with Jason, which is take the mask off at a big dramatic moment and have it be this big shocking thing. And I was actually reasonably impressed by this fan film. They start at that point, and then he puts the mask on, and then it never comes off again. I thought that was actually kind of a cool choice. I was actually really impressed by that. It's like, all right, we're proving that we can do the whole makeup thing, but we're not going to just depend on that trick as a reveal. We're just doing it at the beginning, kind of getting it out of the way and getting into it. And then, oddly enough, it's Michael Myers' face that you want to see more.
And that's one of the things I like. Out of these 2 characters, I guess I lean more towards Michael Myers because, he has John Carpenter and his team. I love the first couple of John Carpenter Halloweens, and Carpenter just builds him up so well. And when Michael's done well, they follow a lot of the rules he did with the character, not showing his face. The face is the mask to him, and they have that nice build up. We see parts of his face and shit like that. That's really well done. And because they have some differences in their characterizations and what makes them work. So, they definitely have fun with that.
I guess I'll take back over then.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I really did like the look of the costuming and stuff too. Like that's the side of it that you mentioned the makeup and the gore effects. Yeah, those look really good. Very much like I know how they cut that to make it look like the knife went through the guy, but it still worked really well. It was a very good execution of that cut. But something I was really, really impressed with was just the costuming and the wear on everything Jason's wearing. Like it doesn't look like just a jacket or something. It looks like that's been in the woods for 2 years. Like it looks.
He's been buried under crap in that jacket. I mean, it looks really authentic.
Yeah, I thought that looked really good. I also like the kind of battle damage that the Michael Myers mask takes on throughout the film, because it starts off, it's kind of cracking, kind of old and stuff, but then it's still white, and then you go through the whole fight, and it's just like his face gets kicked into the dirt 17,000 times, and it's like, okay, it looks like they actually did that to the mask. That's cool.
And there's a moment where Jason rubs the blood off his hand, and it looks like I can't remember exactly what the thorn marking looks like anymore, but it looks like it takes that shape a little bit. That might be my imagination. Maybe that was them not doing that, and I just think I see that. But I don't know. There might be a lot of that. Which, if that's what they were doing, that was a cute little reference to it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Thorn trilogy.
No, not at all.
It's the middle of the Halloween films where they completely take a new turn and direction on the series. And fans, I think, like it for the idea of it more than the execution because they really pissed it away.
Okay.
But I keep hearing people talk about the Thorn trilogy part, which is kind of the middle of the movies. And yeah, it is kind of a neat idea that Michael had become this avatar of this cult.
Yeah, no, I personally find the first Halloween I find boring as hell, and just they only get worse from there. Is kind of my hot take on it.
Oh man, that was hot.
Yeah, get your other mitts.
Here's my hot take. I really enjoy Halloween 3. And it was a mistake not to keep going in that direction.
That was the one where like they tried to make it an anthology series and not have it connected to Michael Myers, right?
Correct, yeah. And fans were really pissed about it, and they demanded Michael back. And then they brought Michael back, and the movies are boring, and they go nowhere, and it's a mess. They should have never, ever... they should have stuck to their guns. To be honest... The film, I don't know if the film was a hit or not, but I mean, people were so mad about it. I mean, it was basically, pre-internet Last Jedi kind of arguments.
Gotcha.
Without the sexism and racism.
Yeah, but
everyone's white.
Yeah, but to get back to this fan film itself, what do you think of the quality of the acting, not only from like the lead two guys, but from all the other characters we see in this?
Well, I'll start with the lead two. I mean, of course, they're playing Jason and Michael, who are not exactly chatterboxes, but their physical performances, I think, are great. The fight scene, the fight choreography is really terrific.
Yes, absolutely.
And in the little moments, they really do kind of get the characters, because Jason's kind of a lumbering type of character, and Michael is a bit more...
I mean, he's quick. Michael,
subtle?
Yeah, Michael Myers is a quick bastard, though.
Yeah, Michael is a thinker. So, yeah, they kind of, do that. He has certain kind of... You can see when he's thinking he does certain head tilts. And they do that in the movie. There's a scene where Michael gets up and he gets, straight up, which is a thing he tends to do a lot when he gets knocked down. So yeah, their performances are great, and I know it's easy to dunk on people who are playing non-speaking monster characters, but there is physical performance required in that kind of thing. So yeah, they're really good. The SWAT team guys are serviceable. I think they're okay. The property owner's sons are fine for what they need to be. I mean, they're really believable. I mean, it's like, yeah, probably run into those guys on that property, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the property...
They were cast as to what they can do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I did feel like they were maybe a little too silent, and that was a bit weird. But I don't know. They kind of show up. I definitely got the sense that either A, they're really inexperienced guys and they wore sunglasses because they thought they'd look cooler on screen that way, or B, it was a really smart choice to have them wear sunglasses so that way they wouldn't you wouldn't be able to tell if they were looking at the camera. So that level of acting, I thought, but yeah, they're put in the right role. They're on screen for less than 3 minutes and they're dying half of that. So that's a good choice there.
I've seen directors cast real people to play certain types of parts. I've seen that before, and it's actually an interest. I mean, you kind of have to because you're doing a fan film with small budget or no budget. But when that kind of tactic is done correctly, it really works.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that. I was pretty impressed with with a lot of the performances here, or I guess impressed is the wrong word. I was pretty happy with a lot of the performances here. I didn't think that anyone was like distracting, because you know we've run into those kind of actors in fan films where it's just like, oh god, they picked the wrong person for this one. You know, one thing I was actually pretty surprised by is the actors playing Michael and Jason. At least in the credits, they have the same last name, so I'm assuming they're like brothers or something. And I thought that was kind of nuts.
Yeah, actually, I think this is a family affair. I see the same last name in a whole bunch of different credits. So yeah,
well, that explains why they're so good at fighting each other if they're brothers. They've been practicing for that kind of situation their whole lives.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot of family members involved in this, so that makes sense. That actually kind of makes me like the movie a little bit more, really. As they got together and had some fun. Oh, something I keep forgetting. I don't know. We kind of passed this point, but when we were talking about Jason getting up in the beginning of the film, where he's woken up by like the voice of his mother. I kind of like that. And occasionally, people play around with that idea that he's still kind of being directed by his ghost mom, which is a concept I think is interesting, and I never think gets played around enough. Like he's just basically like a golem, being directed by an evil ghost mother. Like, oh, okay, all right, that's kind of cool. That's something I could wrap my brain around.
It makes sense.
It's much less boring. Yeah, it's much less boring than zombie monster with a knife.
Yeah, like if he's resurrected at certain times for like a specific purpose, or even if that purpose is just, she's hungry for more blood or something, it kind of works. It makes sense. It's fun.
Well, yeah, that actually makes that makes the thing a little bit more difficult to kill. I mean, that is a little bit more like Freddy. Like he's a ghost in dreams. Like, how do you stop the guy? And you got to do all these kind of weird, like, fucking bullshit things to stop him. And that would make Jason a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Yeah. So I really like that about it. And also just I'll give some credit out that's for just some of the basic stuff. The production value of the camera work is really good. The sound quality was pretty good. Nice music it mixed in. The Foley work for the fighting was pretty good too. So I was really happy with the majority of that. Again, this is like one of those things where it's really cool and it's really fun, but there's really not much to say about the meat of it, because the meat is the fight, and I can't really say much besides the fight choreography was really cool. So I'm just trying to think of other things we can talk about in regards to that, and I guess the only thing I can think of is, did you have like a favorite move or moment in the fight that was like just really like, yeah? I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go first.
Okay. I really liked that, like, Jason drags him all the way there and is looking for some rope to really, finish the job, so to speak. And then when he comes back, Michael's gone again, and then Michael's the one that ends up using the rope on Jason. Because, I don't know, like, when you get this kind of matchup, you immediately start to think, like, okay, this character's just clearly got the advantage, and that is Jason in this matchup in my mind. And so I'm like, okay, so what is Michael Myers possibly going to do to turn the tables? And like the introduction of kind of an exotic element for both of them, like a rope, I thought was kind of cool, because like, yeah, Jason can be as strong as he wants, but if you like hang his ass from a tree or something, what can he do? So I thought that was kind of a cool idea.
Oh, that's really good. I do like the first moment of Michael kind of like trying to figure him out. I thought was interesting. It's like, that would definitely be really new to him. Like, oh, wait, I thought I was the crazy guy in the mask. No. Now here's another guy? What do I do?
Yeah, I like that moment, especially as Jason starts like swinging at him and Michael's just like sidestepping and stuff. Just a very calm and rational approach to how to deal with Jason. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not really sure if I have anything else worth saying about this one. I'm sorry if this review comes off as kind of shallow, but the project was well done for what it is, but there's not much to talk about with it in context of a review is all it comes down to for me.
I don't think this was too shallow. I think we kind of talked about it. Granted, this film wants to do a very specific thing. And we've kind of been talking about it.
All right.
So I don't know. I wouldn't call it that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's go ahead and go on to ratings. Manos, why don't you go first?
Yeah, this was mostly pretty fun. It was good. It does what it wants to do and gets out. And it's technically very, very well done with some good acting and costuming and makeup effects. The story might be a little bit too simple, but to be honest, I don't think they wanted to aim that high anyway. So I'm going to give it 3.5 dead SWAT guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right with you. I think that everything they're going for is really good, and so you got to give it some credit for that. But there is just, this is one of those things where I probably really wouldn't watch it unless we were doing this discussion. So I kind of have to weigh my own personal interest in it a little bit. So I'm also going to go with a 3.5 out of 5 Ghost Moms. All right.
The sequel to Ghost Dad.
Ghost Dad. All right. So next week on Geeky Gentlemen, we'll be discussing Bad Pilots, a Star Wars fan film. And this looks kind of fun, kind of silly, which is always good for Star Wars fan films.
Yes.
So we will see you there next time, folks. Until then, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Realist.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen. And we will be discussing things.